guys, Waterfowler41 here, and in today's video we are installing another Lamin-X product that I picked up for my Ram Rebel. So what we're looking at here is the invisible bug guard. This is part number D1433. So essentially what this is a clear film that goes over essentially the bug guard or the front couple inches of the hood of your truck. And this is custom cut to fit in the Ram or on the Sport hood here. So why did I go with just a clear film in lieu of those plastic bug guards? And in reality, I don't like the bug guards. So I was holding out and waiting for a nice one to come out. I like the low profile ones, but something that really bugged me about a lot of those bug guards is, and it's all of them. So it's not just one model over the other one, but they all end right here. And what happens is you got this black trim piece that's on the factory headlight that goes all the way over the corner. Then you leave this gap. And to me, having a black bug guard on there and then having this weird little gap here missing, basically look like it's missing a piece, it just looks odd to me. So instead of going with the full-on plastic bug guard, I went with the Lamin-X film. I was pretty happy with how thick those films were for the fog lights, so I figured let's give the hood bug guard a shot here with Lamin-X. So what comes in the kit? Obviously you get the pre-cut bug guard for your truck. So this is going to it's going to come cut to fit the contours and everything. So it's going to have this little lip down here and it should fit nicely. Obviously you get the instructions. You get a large squeegee that's felt lined. So that's for once you put this on, it requires a wet application. The squeegee's there to get the fluid out. And then they also give you a spray bottle so you can mix your own application fluid. So basically what they say here is add a few drops of gentle soap to clean water and you're good to go. Now, if you know me and you know vinyls and you know films, you know I'm lazy and I want to take the guesswork out of it. So instead of water and a soap solution, we're going to go with the trusted Wrap Attack here. I use these on the on the wheel film as well as on the fog light, and this stuff works awesome. So we're going to go with this. And a couple other things that I picked up or that I grabbed were my small squeegee and a little pen knife just in case I need it. So before you get to installing this and spraying everything down with Wrap Attack and then throwing the film on there, you got to make sure you clean your hood really well, probably the best you've ever cleaned it. So what I did here is I first wiped everything down with Windex, then I went back over it with a clay bar and clay barred the front 12 inches of the hood here, and then I went back over it after that all dried with isopropyl alcohol, and I did that twice just to make sure I got all the particulate off. But essentially the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to take a Wrap Attack and we're going to spray a healthy dose on the front of the truck here. And what this allows you to do, especially in cold weather, it makes it really nice, but basically what this allows you to do is install that film. So basically take the film off of the backing and then you can lay it on top of the body part that's sprayed down in Wrap Attack, and it'll allow you to move it out of into position where you need it. Especially since we kind of got some indicators here, we could use this and some of these dips here to line up everything. Having that Wrap Attack on there, and I normally don't use a lot of this. I think in this application, I'm definitely going to use a pretty heavy dose of it just to make sure I have enough fluid on there to move it around. If you don't use a lot of it, it will, as you're moving it around, it'll move the fluid out of the way and then it ends up adhering the vinyl or whatever you're laying to the hood. So we're going to give it a couple really healthy blasts across the hood. That way we got plenty of it. After you install these, give yourself at least 24 hours before you drive it. At least that's what the instructions say. So maybe install it in the morning one day and then you got it for the next day, or do it at night and make sure you hit it with some heat to help it dry a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do here is after I wipe it down again with some isopropyl, we'll go ahead and blast it with some Wrap Attack, and then we're going to get to installing that thing. So basically it is just a roll on backing paper, and then I don't know if you can see this, but you can see right there, that little edge there, that is the clear cover. So let me go ahead and wipe down the hood one more time, at least this front area, and then get everything sprayed down with Wrap Attack, and then we'll start with applying it. I've never done a film this big. I'm nervous. I think this is going to be a practice in patience, but wish me luck. Okay, so I have some isopropyl alcohol on a paper towel, and really all you just want to do is just gently wipe everything. This is safe for your paint. It's just there to get all the wax and cleaners and whatnot, any degreasers that you use or really any crap that you got left on the hood. This is there to get it off. So we're going to keep wiping it down, and you know you did a good job when you pull the paper towel off and it's still clean or there's no dirt or anything like that on it. Okay, now that we got everything cleaned off, we're going to go ahead and get everything pretty healthy blast of the wrap attack. We're going to cover the entire hood, and we're going to keep this close by too, because like I said, if you put this stuff on too thin, it actually ends up sticking the vinyl a little bit too much and too quickly and doesn't give you enough time to work with it. So we're going to put a very healthy coating on here. We got plenty of room to squeegee this stuff out of here. I'd rather have more ability to move things around than actually have this thing dry faster. I think the only drawback of spraying too much fluid is that it does in fact take longer to dry, but since my truck's gonna be sitting overnight for a few days, it's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blasting everything, and you can be a little messy here. You just wanna make sure you cover everything. So I think this is $9 on Amazon, so I'll leave a link in the description below. I don't really know how far up this overlay goes, so I would guess it goes up 4 or 5 inches, but I'm not really sure. I didn't open it up all the way yet. So time will tell on that one. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this. So basically what I was having trouble with doing was pulling off the backing from the actual overlay or the film itself, because I'm short and it's a long piece. So what I did is I clamped it up at the top on a ladder. That way I could pull the top down, and as I'm pulling it, I got a free hand to hit the back of it with some more of the wrap attack. That way I could lay it on here, and I got plenty of mushiness to move it around. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that guy off of there and try to get that thing on here. And like I said, let's say a few Hail Marys, because this is a very long piece, and it's probably not the best because some of it's laying on the ground here, but I think we'll be all right. But let's go ahead and take a stab at it. So the other thing that I'm gonna do on this is I'm gonna use a piece of tape to pull it off of the backing. You could use your nail, but what it ends up doing is chipping or kind of bending the sides of it. Just like with the wheel overlays, if you use a piece of tape to pull it off the backing, it'll remove it from the backing a lot cleaner. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll get it fired up here. This is a very big piece, and I wish I had somebody here to help me. Oh crap. Boom. Oh crap. Got a bunch of crap here. Bunch of dirt on there. That sucks. Alright. Now we got everything on there. You take this guy off, throw that away, and start moving it into place. Alright guys, so I ran into a bunch of curveballs yesterday with as far as how the film was laying down, so I'm going to take another stab at it today. This time I'm going to use a little bit of heat to stretch everything out. Yesterday, in its current state, the film wasn't really fitting very well, only because there's a lot of curves here, and you really got to take your time bending around there. And I was kind of losing my patience, to be completely honest, so I'm going to take another stab at it right now and see how this works out. So let's go ahead and grab the film. I got Wrap Attack sprayed on the hood. Basically what's left of my bottle, and we're gonna knock it out right now. Okay, so I figured out the trick. I got the passenger side done. The trick is heat. So basically, as you're heating it, you want to first line up everything with the bottom edge here, and then as you're going, basically use that, get all the fluid out from underneath there so it sticks, and then you can pull everything in here. And then the second thing you would do is heat down this one, and then basically continue it on to the end. So basically what I'm gonna do here is just keep following the contour of the hood here, and keep basically pulling the film itself down to the edge here. And then after that, start heating up here so everything stretches out nicely. This is 100% a practice and patience, but it does work out. It just takes a lot of time. And what I'm learning is you better make sure you have a 100% lint-free towel, because I do have a lot of lint trapped underneath here. You can't really see it until you're really up close. But I'm gonna try to pick it out as I go through here. So we're gonna rock and roll and try to get this portion nailed down here, and then we'll have a finished up truck here. Okay, so you can see stretched out quite a bit to basically pull that edge down, and what I'm doing slowly is just going from the center of the hood all the way over here, just kind of pinching all that fluid out. And this is pretty easy stuff to work with once you get it heated up a little bit, and it doesn't really crease as much as you would think. given, you know, like if you were to push on this, would it crease? But again, it's a practice in patience because it takes a little bit for this stuff to stick. So you got to get a lot of that, that fluid out of there for it to really start to adhere to the roof. So like I said, I'm starting from the center over because I'm basically using this little lip here as a reference. And you can see it keeps peeling up here. But as I add heat and stretch and kind of move everything into place, things will start to take shape. So really the reason you add heat is just like when they do window tinting, you want to have the film kind of heated up and molded to the curve of the window. Same thing here, the heat is there to get it to curve to this and stretch it out. It's not really there to dry anything off. That's what the squeegee's for. The squeegee's there to remove all that liquid, and then the heat sort of helps it, but again, that's kind of the primary reason of this one. So basically, as I keep going with this hood thing, like I said, my focus right now is only on this portion of the hood. So I just want that film as close to the edge as I can get it. And every so often I add a little bit of heat just to give me some room to play with here. And then I just keep pulling it. All right, so we are in the home stretch. Oh man, got a bunch of lint underneath there. So we're in the home stretch of this guy. It's going on much better than yesterday. I will say I was a little crabby, and doing this stuff when you have very short temper is not a good idea because this does take a lot of patience. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever done a film like this, so it's a little difficult. It's doable, but it's not, come on. Trick is finding out what side of the film the dust is on. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this, but basically I got that turn here. I got some bubbles that I need to take care of, but for the most part, everything's kind of sealing down. And like I said, 24 hours is what this stuff needs to dry. So we're gonna get everything situated. I'm gonna try to get this little, I don't know what that is. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get everything kind of situated here, and then park the car for 24 hours and give it time to dry, and then come back and take a look at it. But I ended up making dishwasher spray, or I'm sorry, spray to apply everything with a little bit. I did like 5 or 6 drops of dish soap and some water. The reason I did that is I'm running low on Rapid Attack because, again, I got a little overboard with it last night. But what I'm noticing is my cloths are not as lint-free as I thought. So that is fighting me a lot on this. So it's taking a little bit longer than it probably should. So lesson learned on that one is don't wash this with all your other laundry. All right, we are done, and I will say thank God we are done. This was a hard project, and not hard because the product itself is kind of a pain in the butt to put on, but hard because I was my own worst enemy on this. So previously in the video, I showed you how I pulled the film off of the backing, and what I didn't realize is I got some dog hair stuck to the underside of the film. So this took extremely long. It took an extremely long time because I got a bunch of dog hair stuck on there. Anyway, that was my own fault. I got as much as I could out of it. But let's take a look at the final product. So there you go. It is on, and for the most part, you could barely see it. I mean, obviously, if you get up close, you can see the edges and everything, and it's not fully dry yet. But I am very happy with how well this went on. On the second try, I will say. Again, this took 2 tries, mostly because I lost my patience the first time. All right, let's walk through the steps, kind of in a step-by-step process in terms of how to install this. So the first thing you want to do is just clean the heck out of the front of your hood. So I used Windex first, then I went over it with a clay bar, and then I went over it again with isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure it's a perfectly clean surface. Then the next thing you do is hang up. So I hung up the backing, and make sure you pull off this. As you're pulling off the film itself, you're spraying it with whatever application fluid you're using. I used Rapid Tack, but I also, on I guess part 2 here, I used the dish soap with a little bit of, or the little bit of dish soap with a lot of bit of water to help with the application. Then start in the center and fold one side over and basically work on one side at a time. So with this one, it was really easy to do this portion. And then once you start to get to these big humps here, heat is your best friend. So after I went through on the film and made sure that the film lined up as best I could with the front lip of the hood, then I went back and heated this up. So basically, before it was heated up, you had kind of a big bridge. You put enough heat on there and you start pushing it down. It sits down very nicely. So just kind of worked my way all the way to the edge of it and kind of finished off over here. As you're squeegeeing, squeegee down, squeegee out, squeegee from the middle, just to make sure you get the fluid out of there. Then after you finish one side, you go back and do the second side. Again, slowly spray everything. Also spray the top portion of the film itself, because that allows your squeegee to slide much easier. You can always wipe it off with a microfiber. So as you're squeegeeing everything out, keep working your way to the end. Using heat here. Don't get crazy with the heat though. Heat's not that good for the paint, and it's definitely not good for plastic like your bumper here. Work your way all the way to the edge. This stuff does need a little bit of stretching. So I was getting frustrated last night because I didn't realize how much stretching this really did need, but it needed a ton. And I didn't realize that because laying film and window tinting is just not my thing. But I wanted to give this project a shot. So anyway, I have it laid down now. Now we're going to give it 24 hours to dry. And my understanding is you basically just treat this stuff just like paint. So if you want to hit it with wax or whatnot, go ahead after it dries. I've had the overlays on my fog lights and never had an issue with it peeling up after I let it fully cure. So we're going to let this guy cure overnight and then come back maybe in a week or so and finish up waxing the truck. Other than that, the other helpful hint I could say is work in a very, very, very clean area. This clear stuff likes to draw a lot of dust, and if you're doing this in the winter or if it's dry outside, a lot of static is going to pull dust directly to it. I have a lab and I have literally dog hair everywhere, so I did have to remove a couple pieces of dog hair in the film. But other than that, I'm very happy with how discreet it looks, and it's going to give me the protection here. You could definitely feel it, so you could feel the drop off between the film and the paint itself. But very happy with it. I think you can see, yeah, you see the kind of little bit of a lip there, so maybe yep, so you can see a little bit of a lip on the edge there, but again, it's providing the protection that I wanted to get out of the bumper guard itself. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned how to be patient on this project, and also if you haven't already noticed, but I do have a referral code for any Lamin-X products, and I think it comes with a 20% coupon code, so I'll leave that down in the description below. But definitely use that referral link. Helps me, helps you, and 20% off of something. I think this is about 80 bucks for the bumper guard here, or the invisible bug shield. 20% off is definitely it's a good discount. But other than that, let me know if you have any questions on this. This was, like I said, it was probably the most difficult installation to date on my Ram, mostly because I was my own worst enemy. I was impatient and I got a lot of lint and dirt stuck on the film itself. But after I was able to kind of work a lot of that out and kind of get a feel for how much heat is actually needed to bend or to mold the film into shape, it worked out very well. I'm pretty happy with the final product. Again, not 100% perfect, but hey, for first time laying down film on the hood, it's pretty damn good. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, guys. Appreciate it.